Welcome back to B&LC Horsethief route. Even for row skill it is, for another row skill video it is absolutely gonna be the part of another row skill videos of my pretty sure. And now it's time to step down or step back into the 1980s. Let's just spawn a train immediately as fast and before I was ready to go. So it looks like it's time to give ourselves for a good start, and let's just give ourselves a go for a good departure. So everything loads perfectly, and the trees and many things as possible that we're gonna be started to do so. Let's just click here to start a train, and we'll now start. Oh dear, we're not gonna be doing for just a little bit for doing this for Game Pass. Let's start for locomotives. And except for Game Pass, we just probably to do so. Starting with the SD45, or many more like these things. We're going to be starting our frictional locomotives. We're just going to be doing for the SD40, we just probably wanted to do. So, we're going to be trying to find anything about this. But look how many locomotives we got. It's probably having a lot of these things, especially we got a little bit of ourselves for the Union Pacific, and we got many more of those locomotives. Instead of Norfolk Southern Railway, or Penn Central Railway, I think this isn't going to be going to do so as well. And the first thing that I just completely spawned a locomotive, which is pretty powerful, and that we just completely spawn all the way for 3 locomotives. And probably to do so, I think I'm probably be able to delete it as well. Another locomotive we go. 3 locomotives that I just completely spawned. And now we have the rolling stock. Nope. I think that isn't going to be going to do this as well. I'll be taking for a little bit amount of minutes, and we're just going to be doing for the diesel electric locomotives we got here. We're now able to spawn for the EMD SD40. We got too much for just a little bit for just going to be doing like this one. We have 2 SD40 locomotives, such as for the B&LC, followed by right behind is the Santa Fe, and another behind wasn't gonna be like this thing for doing like this. This is the double headliner for just right there, and that was gonna be it. Let's going for a rolling stock, and probably instead of the locomotives, instead of passenger cars, we're gonna be using for the hopper cars. We just absolutely doing for the 40 cars left. We have 4 is a hoppers like 1, 2, 3, 4 cars, 5 like the hoppers as well. And what about the box cars? Wasn't gonna be doing for about here. The other parts box car we have for just a little bit for many of those things. And we have 50-foot box cars for sure. And I'm pretty sure this is gonna be a lot of them as well. And there must be so many box cars as well. Auto tracks and many more of those for a little bit for a small box car as well. And pretty a lot. And because we're not allowed to start this job, because this is actually nothing gonna be going for as well, many more reasons. And we have for many kinds of hoppers. The coal hoppers is Burlington Northern, and we have for many more of these things, the coal hoppers. And it's probably we have for 8 rolling stocks left. And I cannot believe it, this isn't gonna be actually too much. But where is the caboose? I think this is absolutely gonna be going for a flat car, 2 flat cars. We have 6 rolling stocks left. And then probably we just absolutely going to be doing for a cancel to this job as well. So we're now going to be finding in the caboose is right on behind. Behind the locomotive was actually, I really didn't know about for this one. The standard box car is always 2 and before the caboose. So we just finally able to spawn the locomotive himself, and looks like we got a little bit of ourselves big as well. We got many of these things, but I have to cancel every jobs, but unfortunately we're not able to start anything about itself before proper testing. There was bulkheads and many more of these cars from the bed gone for many more of these things as well. We have the coal hoppers in black and brown without any kinds of logos as well. So we're gonna be probably spawning for the cater beams and final hoppers. We got for many more of these variant hoppers as well. And we got our last couple of express things, and this isn't gonna be going for a round for this doing like this one. Anything but for now. And it's gonna be the last thing for the 3 set is a Econo stack. And probably this is actually for running out of these things as well. And now we have for efficient locos, we got many more of these things as well. So 2 locomotives on the go, or probably this is gonna be way too much. I think we're slightly gonna be deleting this. We have 3 cater beams. No, I'll be deleting this. This is absolutely going to be 2 cater beams. Instead, this is gonna be going for a little bit as well. Now it's 2 cater beams, and especially for those modern things, whatever it does. But we're slightly not suitable to start a job, and looks like we're completely ready to go. And we have for many of those rolling stock, we got many of those. So it looks like final rolling stocks is gonna be left. All we have to do is we're going to spawn the caboose, and it's gonna be right behind. Finally, we have 6 rolling stock left, and let's just give ourselves a go in the very first time. So we still absolutely making things a little bit for very sure, but starting the jobs as well wasn't gonna be pretty quite sure. We absolutely still gonna be making itself for to do this, and we're not sure that we're gonna be starting for this job early. So the train is gonna be ready to go and get itself for its next stop. Alright, let's go for itself for the number 6620. And right behind is the 5340. And looks like we're gonna be ready to start and ready offset. We have the E lights, and we're still gonna be moving forward. Turn on the headlights, and absolutely have one. The bell rings, and the train horn. We have started the bacon, and we have the additional lights such as gyro light, and we're gonna be slowly accelerating for its start a little bit early. So we're gonna be making this straight. It looks like we're gonna be making through this route from over here. Unfortunately, something stuck. Or whatever it tried to do this, what anything it was. Right next into the railroad crossing. What looks like the not working like this thing is probably over here. So the train departed safely, gonna be over time. Now let's just depart it over time. And it's going to get ready ourselves. We might able to be turning off the bacon until we say it out loud for just only one thing. Then here comes the locomotive himself over the railroad crossing. So, nothing that is gonna be doing this for a little bit, pretty sure. It's gonna be departing a little bit lightly. And now, the locomotive is at full throttle, followed by the Santa Fe right behind the locomotive. That must be a double headliner, as we're completely ready to go. So, in the teleport reference, we're starting, we already departed right over here in the B&LC Horsethief yard, and the next stop could be the Summit yard or something. We're gonna be headed down for just a little bit itself. We're now going to get a little bit for the outskirts, Bertram. I think the next stop is gonna be Bertram. So this is where there must be one first station that where we gonna be trying to depart as well. Anyways, we're gonna be trying to move acceleration as fast as possible. And the rail cars could sound a little bit loudly. The train will be gonna be rolling for very much as well. And it's gonna be headed all the way to 40% per throttle. And now all the way up to 50%. Oh dear, where's the caboose? Oh, we forgot. Let's see, we have just a fewer cars after the locomotive has been passed a little bit. We're just going to be going a little bit more. We have a little bit much of those hoppers in the box cars, and for such as 50 foots of those mother like these things as well. So I'm probably going to be still have many more kinds of hoppers, canter beams, and many more themselves. And there's the caboose, right on time. So, looks like the locomotive is going to be ready to get a little bit hauling away after it completely starts all the way from the top. So, I think that will might be able to pretend we're just catching like the helicopter before. And it's going to be a little bit ourselves to hit the road for its first time. It will be taking for a little bit amount of minutes. The train will now be speeding for just a little bit short amount of time until we just going to be trying to hit for 53 to 55% per throttle. And now it's 60%, and now it's going to be rating height of speeds. Now it's at 66% per throttle. Then we just hear the locomotive even faster. Damn, so that wasn't going to be going on. If the locomotive is going to be subject to be a runaway, I'm probably shouldn't be able to do this as well. But I'm afraid we're not going to be making it on time. I'm afraid the train must go in for speed for a little bit amount of time, as the train will be trying to speed this a little bit earlier until we reach all the way to 70% to 74% per throttle. The train should be able to come for this way. I think well now, hopefully this isn't going to be going for work as well. Now I'll be seeing the locomotive for just right over here on the back straight. Before then. And you see the locomotive speeding? And now it goes on to the straightaway. Will not be able to slow down. The train speeds all the way to 77%. and it heads all the way to the railroad crossing by themselves. So it's not gonna be here it is. The train might be able to slow down, because here it is. This is the train that's gonna be going all the way to arrive at that railroad crossing. And the railroad crossing is gonna be activated right now. I think it's gonna be going to do this. And it definitely worked. And the train has arrived. Rolling trains in action just right over here. And so the train might be able to derail itself, going a little bit on the block as well. That must be the last of them. And it was going to be probably to do this. And I'll be speeding in about for 80%. And let's just give ourselves on top. There is another railroad crossing from over here. And I'll be hearing this train out, and we'll be seeing why. And once the railroad crossing is going to be started to sound them out, but I'm probably going to be ready to do this as well. And it sounds probably already the same. And we're probably very sure it still comes throughout here. It comes really fast. We're here in Middleton, but it looks like the train will be gonna be arrived on like these things as well. And I'm probably not sure. What's the town again? We're gonna be going for a Bertram as well. Bertram is going to be in the next thing as well. Right next into this for a single track, which is eventually made onto its single track. But we're not sure that we keep on going for the railroad crossings as well. And we're so close by to the railroad crossings as well. And the train is going to be arrived somewhere in a moment. These are the E-bells that we just eventually hear this one moment. The train has passed by, and it's completely still pretty loud about here. Oh dear, this is pretty a lot of themselves as well. The E-bells are pretty loud, but I sense we're not going to be head all over to do this as well. We're now at maximum throttle, as the train is going to be speeding as well. It sounds like weird. And now it's going back into the double tracks as well. And the train is still going to be speeding a little bit itself, going to do this as well. And we still absolutely try to do this. The beacon is still on. And we probably not to do that ourselves. I'm afraid the train is going to slow down. And down into the 85%. Alright, let's go down to 73% per throttle. Down to 64% per throttle. And it arrives at the crossing. But nothing sounds like anything that before. Should we gonna be going right over here onto that yard? Uh-oh, oh dear, oh dear, oh no, oh no, I think this is not gonna be too late. Oh dear, I think I need to stop the train. There we go. The train is gonna be completely free to go pass through. Not anything but since in a while. So it looks like the train is going to be stopped over here. And rushing speed all the way from around here. And blowing the train horn isn't going to be just like to do this. And now we're going to be for its emergency brake. But it looks like this isn't going to be about to do this, whatever we try to do. The train is gonna be directly stopped from over here. It took from 26 seconds to slow the train down and a complete stop by emergency. It looks like the train is gonna be stopped for its fuel overtime. And finally, that is gonna be the end of this video already. As you can see, that must be, it's not an international highway. This is the interstate, where some other kinds of people go into the city and leaving the city whatever we try to take, all the way around. And never bother to ride this thing as well. We're now gonna be trying to take things a little bit close. And the train is finally fully stopped as well. And will not pretty think the railroad crossing has just completely activated right now before the train has just completely stopped from over here. So anyways, if you enjoyed for this video, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe and click the bell. We might be able to turn off the bacon as we seen of this train for one more. Thanks for watching and for all your support, and the game is linked in description down below, so you'll be checking out for this game as well. And probably this is the 1980s that you ever know what it is. Probably it already arrives, but the train is completely too long to fit inside right over here. So this is gonna be Tebo. Kyunsup is pretty signing off, and don't forget to leave a like on this game, whatever it does. And I'll talk to you, rail fanners, that I'll see you down the line.